Okay, so let's go ahead and, they changed this. Let me go ahead and share the screen again, which I thought I was sharing. Okay. All right. So I'm hoping that everybody can see my screen. It says Herbal Oils. If you cannot see the screen, please send me a text and let me know. But what we're going to talk about today are some of the oils that we don't necessarily gravitate to. Maybe some of the oils that are they're not. I mean, I'm not going to say that these oils are specific, but these oils are specific for certain things. And we're going to talk about infections. These herbal oils are some of the powerhouses for infections, whether it's ear infection, whether it's staph infection. There's all these infections that we can have internally, and these oils are going to go ahead and help with some of these infections. So I'm going to talk about just the different ways that we can use these herbal oils. Of course, these herbal oils, all of them are good for internal use. All right. So what are essential oils? Most of us that are on the Zoom, they're not new to essential oils, but again, I think I've said this every single class. What are essential oils? They're extracts. And what are they extracts of? These are extracts of leaves, extracts of flowers, stems, twigs, resin, fruit, and the root, and even other parts of the particular plant. Now, these are things that usually give the plant the fragrance, all right? They're very complex, okay? They're biochemicals, but they have got the same way that they benefit the plant or the tree, are the same way that they benefit us, okay? Oftentimes they're the immune system of the plant. And so as they provide all of those benefits to the plants, to the trees, they're also going to go ahead and give us a great amount of benefits, okay? So essential oils, as this particular author had said, is the heartbeat of the plant kingdom, okay? And perhaps the most exciting life-giving substance that we have in the world today. Now, what does that mean? I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, right? Well, outside of the animal kingdom, we have got a huge plant kingdom, right? Everywhere you go, there's something growing somewhere, right? Well, each of these things is an organism that have to actually defend themselves, right? That have to have an immune system different from ours, but yet very, very capable. And these plants, I know I just, came back from a trip to Reno, and I mean, it was desert, I mean, that was the closest to what I looked at as a desert. I had never seen such parched ground before. I mean, being in Georgia, everything is green. I was, born and raised in New York, everything was green. I lived in Alaska, everything was green. And then I went out to Reno and everything was, brown. And when I saw the plants growing in this parched environment, I mean, it was just, I was amazed at how these plants could actually survive in a very inhospitable environment, right? Where it very seldom rained. And it's, so these plants have got to hold on to every bit of moisture, right? But plants have got these life-giving substances inside of them. And these are the essential oils that we're going to talk about today. Now, a lot of people on this Zoom use herbs, right? We cook with them. They're good in our teas, right? But oftentimes our herbs don't come looking like this, right? They come, ground up and they're in little bottles, right? Now, even if we dried our own herbs, I want everybody to understand that essential oils are way more potent than herbs, okay? They're highly concentrated, so they're 50 to 70 times more potent than the herbs or the plants that they are actually derived from. Okay, so if you get basil, and we're going to talk about basil today, we're going to talk about oregano, we're going to talk about cilantro, we're going to talk about some different herbs. When you get them in the essential oil, they are much more concentrated than even if you were to pick them fresh out of the garden and cook with them. All right. Dried herbs, when they're actually dried now, they can lose up to 90% of their nutrients. Okay. So when you're using those dried herbs from the store, understand that almost all, okay, now I'm not saying that they're not good. They're still good, but you have lost a lot. Of course, we all understand that the process of the death of that herb or whatever it is that you're picking, like, you pick a flower and that process happens very quickly. Once it's disconnected, the process of death happens very quickly. So they also lose a lot of their nutrients, okay? Essential oils do not. Okay, essential oils contain virtually all of the plant's beneficial nutrients, virtually all of the oxygenating molecules, the amino acid precursors, the coenzyme A factors, trace minerals, enzymes, vitamins, hormones, etc. Right? So essential oils are going to be the very best way to capture, to harness, to store all of the nutrients and those things that we want to save within those herbs. Okay. Now, there are so many herbal oils. I mean, this class could have gone on all day long talking about different herbal oils, but I chose 6. Okay. So we're going to talk about oregano. Oregano being probably one of the most powerful herbal oils that you can get. Basil, which I've come to appreciate even more. Marjoram, thyme, cilantro, which I've got some real interesting facts about cilantro that I didn't know about, and I can't wait for you to hear about it as well. And then rosemary, which I know we've all heard about rosemary. Rosemary is an unbelievable essential oil. But let's go ahead and get started. I want to talk about oregano first. Oregano is probably the oil that when I purchased the oils, I probably used the least amount of. Now, whenever I would want to do some type of a flu bomb, whenever there was like something really, really big that you need to counter, whether you're coming down with a cold or you're trying to keep yourself from getting a virus or the flu or whatever, whatever. Even bacteria, yeast, it takes care of yeast and fungus and all of these things. You can take this internally, which you should be able to take it internally, right? Well, if you go to Walmart or you go to, Natural Pantry or whatever, Whole Foods, and you look for oregano, oftentimes, most times than not, you're going to turn around the oregano. It's going to say not for internal use. Now, that to me, that definitely, sends up some red flags. Is, you've got an edible herb, very, very beneficial when eaten, that, these oil companies are saying not for internal use. And why do they say that? Well, to me, it's pretty obvious, right? The obvious reason is there are things in there that you should not eat. There are things in that bottle that you should not ingest. With doTERRA, that's not the case. Okay, so doTERRA's oils are potent, pure, and they're safe. Okay, so what is oregano good for? Designed specifically for fighting bacterial infections, antibiotics are one of the medical doctor's favorite tools for treating many health issues. There's another underutilized natural medicine that many doctors don't tell their patients about. And this is the oregano oil. This is antibiotic strength oil. So it has proven to be a powerful plant-derived essential oil that may rival antibiotics. Now, why does it rival antibiotics? We're going to talk about that. It rivals when it comes to treating or preventing, and that's really, really important because prevention is the most important thing. Preventing ourselves from getting sick. once you have gotten sick, it's very hard to fight that bacterial or the viral overgrowth. Okay, it's easier to prevent it than it is to fight it. So in fact, oregano contains properties that are antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal. In addition, oregano essential oil is unlikely to cause many of the harmful side effects that are commonly attributed to high use of antibiotics, such as increased risk for antibiotic resistance. Okay, that would be like your some of the infections that you might get in a hospital, such as MRSA. It's a resistant strain of a bacteria, very, very dangerous. High use of antibiotics increases a poor gut health. Okay, that's why a lot of times when you're on a long dose of antibiotics, the doctor might tell you to take some probiotics, or might tell you to to eat a certain type of a yogurt that has that the probiotics that would be good for your intestinal flora. So it also, an increased use of antibiotics also reduces your vitamin absorption. Leaky gut syndrome could be due to high use of antibiotics, and then other damage to your GI tract lining. So a lot of GI issues are to blame for a high amount of antibiotic use. Okay, now with oregano, not so. So not only is it good for fighting infections, viral, bacterial, or otherwise, it also does wonderful things inside of your body with no harmful side effects. Okay, so common examples. Okay, so with these particular issues, oregano would be very, very good. Athlete's foot, toenail fungus. Why? Because it's antifungal. Okay, so you can put it on. I would always use a little bit of fractionated coconut oil because oregano is considered a hot oil, and a little bit goes a long way, right? A little, maybe a little dime size of fractionated coconut oil and a drop or two of oregano. Rub it on your toenails, your fingernails, the bottoms of your feet, in between your toes. If you deal with that type of fungus. I've never had it before, but I hear that it's really, really hard to get rid of. So it's, it's very, very resistant, but oregano is very, very powerful and it works very well. Again, common colds. You could use oregano on the bottom of your feet, again, for colds, or I should say, and also ingest it. Okay. doTERRA oregano is safe to ingest, and it's actually very good to ingest. Gingivitis, earaches. I've got a recipe here in a couple more slides. Again, very good for digestive issues as well. Why? Because it takes care of the overgrowth, right? Bacteria is good. Gut bacteria is good, but too much of bacteria is not good. That's what causes infection. All right. So let's go ahead and advance here. All right. So again, a lot of this information is going to be redundant, but I want to put it in different ways so that, we can all understand the importance of this oil that oftentimes is, if we have this oil, which a lot of us have, it gets, it's kind of like in the back of the box, and it's not the first one that you might, gravitate to because, you smell like a pizza pie if you put it on you, right? And so some people don't gravitate. I very seldom diffuse this, but there are diffuser recipes actually that, that you can use oregano in. And like I say, this is something that I would like for everybody to just try to incorporate it in your life in some way this week. It's a natural antibiotic. Okay, like I was saying, dilute it, put it to the soles of your feet, take it internally for 10 days, right? Then stop, okay? You cycle it off after 10 days, right? You can battle candida and fungal overgrowth. Once again, for toenail fungus, you can make a homemade antifungal powder. Okay, so really, really neat that, you know, some of these, you know, do-it-yourself, you know, recipes that we can actually take care of our problems, you know, without all of the terrible side effects of these, you know, the prescriptions and the pharmaceuticals and the antibiotics, right? You can actually fight pneumonia and bronchitis with this little bottle of oil, right? 15 ml, 250 drops, lasts you months, right? Even if you're using it daily, it's going to last you a long time. So it's even cheaper than you know, pharmaceuticals and antibiotics, right? So again, this is ingestion, taking it in. We're going to talk about veggie caps in just a minute, but veggie caps are always something to have on hand if you're going to go ahead and ingest oils, especially oregano. You don't want to just drop oregano in your water and drink it. Believe me, you'll be sorry you did it that way. The best way to take oregano internally is going to be with veggie caps. And I'm going to talk about veggie caps in just a minute. Once again, like I was talking about, MRSA, staph infection, and you know, don't put it in your beverage. You can put it in your food, but it's going to be very, very powerful. If you put this in your food, what you want to do is you want to take a toothpick and dip it into that bottle, and just that tip of the toothpick season your food, whether it's soup or whether it's pasta sauce or whatever it might be. Believe me when I say, start small. And if you want to put more in, take another little toothpick full, because even one drop of oregano is going to be very, very powerful. Remember what I said, these are very highly concentrated essential oils. You can fight intestinal worms. Now, of course, we in America, we don't usually have those issues, but just I want to just show just the power of this essential oil. Anybody have a wart? It will actually remove a wart. You can use it for mold in your home. So here's a do-it-yourself: 5 to 7 drops to a homemade cleaning solution along with tea tree oil and lavender. Okay, you can even just put it in water. Okay, just a few drops goes a long way. All right, so here is the do-it-yourself recipe that I found for an ear infection. Now, one thing I want to be very clear. I am never going to tell you to just open up a bottle and just start dropping oil into your ear. Don't do that, okay? But the outer ear, okay, that's where this oil is going to be very, very effective. A little oregano to the outside of the affected ear. Keep on doing it. Okay, don't just do it one time a day and, you know, or do it once and, oh, well, it didn't work. No, you got to do it about 2 to 3 times a day. Even if you were to take antibiotics that a doctor would prescribe you, usually those antibiotics are like 2 times a day, right? Morning and night, sometimes it's even 3 times a day, right? And certainly not just one dose. The doctor's going to tell you to continue doing this for 10 days, right? And if you don't do it and you don't get healed, you know, you don't get fixed or whatever you want to call it, it's not the doctor's fault. It's our fault for not listening to, you know, this is the way that it needs to be done. Okay, essential oils are to be used for several times a day, depending upon the problem. Sometimes it's every couple of hours, right? And then, of course, you know, the duration would be, you know, maybe up to 10 days, whatever. But just remember, don't allow the oregano oil to just drip into your ear. Okay, you put it on your finger. You can rub it around on, you know, where your finger reaches. That is usually your outer ear. Your inner ear is where your fingers cannot reach. Okay, so as you can see right here, outer ear, middle ear, inner ear. Inner ear is behind your tympanic membrane. Okay, so middle ear is also. So just remember, where your fingers can reach, that's going to go ahead and be your outer ear. Another thing, like I was saying about the oregano oil on the bottom of your foot, you can also do it just to boost your immune system. who doesn't need to have a stronger immune system, right? We all need to strengthen our immune system. So a little bit of oregano oil with fractionated coconut oil on the bottom of your feet, usually at night would be the best time. Why? Well, for one, is who wants to walk around all day long smelling like oregano oil, right? So, you know, doing it at the end of the day will allow it to absorb in and to do its wonderful work. At night is when your body is repairing itself anyway, right? So it's the best time to go ahead and do it. And why on the bottom of your feet? Well, because the bottom of your feet is an area where it actually, it transposes into certain areas of your body. Okay, and that's actually a really, it's a very interesting study. Your hands as well, your ears as well. These are the areas where if you can actually put essential oils and it will actually help a particular part of your body. It's really, really neat. Like anything on your head, your big toe correlates to your cephalic area of your body. So it's very, very interesting the way all of that works. But anyway, I wanna end with just the idea of just everybody understanding that oregano is one of the most potent and powerful essential oils, and it has been used for a long, long time. Okay. Everybody has heard of Hippocrates, right? The father of medicine. He used oregano as a cleansing agent as well as for digestive and respiratory support. So, you know, oregano is nothing new. This has been around for a long time. It's just that what happened is Western medicine, we replaced synthetic pharmaceutical chemicals for some of these natural herbs that have got the ability to actually, you know, promote this this healing of the body. So anyway, it's very high in antioxidants. So here are some of the additional things that oregano can help. Canker sores, good for inflammation, whooping cough, ringworm. This is a wonderful oil that everybody should not only have, but should also use. All right, let's go ahead and, all right, the next one I wanted to talk about is rosemary. Okay, rosemary smells beautiful. This is an oil, I trade rosemary out with tea tree in the shower. When I'm washing my hair, I either will put peppermint and rosemary or peppermint and tea tree in my hair, but rosemary is known for hair growth, for hair health, and it smells absolutely wonderful. So anyway, here are some of the primary uses. This is not an exhaustive list. This is the primary uses: arthritis, bronchitis, good for the immune system; colitis, it's a detox, it's good for fatigue, very, very good, especially if you diffuse it. Very good for the flu, kidney infection, lice, oily hair, heart palpitations, respiratory infections, sinusitis, sour stomach. One bottle of rosemary can do all of these things. I just find it just unbelievable just to even think that one oil has all of these benefits. Now, everybody's heard of goji berries, right? Goji berries are very, very good for fighting free radicals, but rosemary has the same strength as that of goji berries. Okay, so if you want to fight that oxidative stress, aka aging, then rosemary definitely is your oil that you want to use. It's rich in how do you say that? Carnosic acid. What is carnosic acid? It's an antioxidant that fights oxidative stress in the brain. So again, aging in the brain. Okay, you know, as we get older, our memories aren't so good, and you know, we start to get, you know, a little foggy, you know, whatever. Well, rosemary is very, very good, helps to keep us sharp. Okay, so it can be diffused, it can be taken internally, you can also put it topically on your skin. All right. Now, I don't know if this applies to anybody, but I thought it was very interesting when I was reading about rosemary oil. Anybody has ever known anybody that's had to undergo radiation treatment? They know that radiation is is very harmful to the body. That's why when you go to the dentist and they do x-rays on your teeth, they put this great big heavy lead thing on you and they ask if you're pregnant. They ask all these questions, or if you got a broken bone. They try to protect everything else except for that one area that they want to do the x-rays on, right? Why do they do that? They do that because they understand that radiation, which from the x-rays, can be harmful to our bodies. So they don't want to expose us unless it's absolutely necessary to expose. Like if you're taking x-rays on your mouth, obviously you have to have exposure, right? Let's say you're somebody that has to be subject to radiation for long periods of time, such as if maybe there's cancer or whatever. We know that excessive exposure to radiation it kills the cancer. So it's very, very effective in what it's trying to kill, but it also kills other stuff that is not intended, right? I was actually taken back when I read this, that using rosemary oil is such a simple way to protect your body from the increasing levels of radiation. For 2 weeks or longer, twice a day, after exposure to any x-rays or radiation of any kind, put just a little bit of rosemary on the sole of your feet. Of course, with fractionated coconut oil is always, when you're putting these oils on your body, using fractionated coconut oil, or I like to say FCO, is a very good way to introduce that oil into your body as quickly as possible without losing any of the oil, because essential oil, it evaporates very quickly, right? So using that carrier oil holds it, locks it, and draws it into your body very, very well. So if you have essential oils, you should also have fractionated coconut oil. So, but I thought that this was very interesting, how that it can actually protect us from the harmful radiation from x-rays. Alrighty, so here's 10 ways to use it. Internally, for nervous tension, for fatigue. You can diffuse it with a citrus oil with peppermint. For focus, if maybe like me, I seem like every other day I'm taking some kind of test for something or another. Even when you're studying your Bible, very, very good for focus, right? And it also keeps you awake and alert, okay? It's an energy boost. You can actually make a spray, right? Just a little bit of water and some rosemary. Diffusing it, very, very good. Putting it in your shampoo and conditioner, like I was just talking about. Of course, we know that we can cook with it. Putting it on your chest for respiratory support. Very, very good beneficial oil to have on hand. Alrighty, who has ever heard of marjoram? Now, I did not start using this oil until my daughter told me that she loves it. My daughter Gabby, she uses it at night. She loves to diffuse it at night. And when she told me that, I said, let me check this out. It's a wonderful smelling oil, and it's a very, very good oil to blend with other things. Okay, but look at this. Valued for its calming properties, positive effect on the nervous system, for soothing for tired, stressed muscles. It's good for healthy immune function, as is most all of these herbal oils. Very good for the cardiovascular system. All right, so good for heart health. All right, so here it is. It's also known as winter sweet or joy of the mountains. All right, marjoram was known to the Greeks and the Romans as a symbol of happiness. In traditional Austrian medicine, marjoram was used to promote GI health and to purify the skin. In modern applications, marjoram is valued for its calming properties and for its positive effect on the nervous system. And like I say, again, very good for muscles, good for cardiovascular, as well as respiratory systems. But this is something that I didn't know. I didn't know that marjoram was good for headaches and migraines, chronic fatigue, shingles. Anybody ever have shingles? I never have, but I dread ever getting it because I heard that it's very painful. But look, we've got an oil that might help, right? Good for tension, cold sores, lowers blood pressure. Isn't that interesting? Fungal and viral infections, nerve pain, menstrual cramps, cough. I mean, this is just such a it's just it's like, it can do like so many things, right? Just very good to have on hand. I wanted to put this on here just because this is kind of like a little DIY, you know, for fighting bacterial and viral infections. You can do a steamer. Marjoram is one of those oils that can go in the steamer. Put it in your bath. It's very, very good to fall asleep to. All righty. Respiratory system, amazing for cooking. And again, tendons and muscles. Putting it on the back of the neck, applying to a fussy child's feet before nap time. Sounds pretty good to me. Before exercising, and diffusing it to lift your spirits. I know I'm just like slide after slide after slide, but I just found marjoram just very, very interesting, but I'll stop. Basil. Now, basil was one that I don't really gravitate toward basil. I do now more than I did before I put this slide show together. Good for that monthly discomfort for women. It cools the skin. Very, very good for mental alertness, for bringing down tension, stress, that type of thing, as we'll find with all of these herbal oils. So anyway, you know, if you want to take little snapshots of some of these things, or if you want to go ahead and, you know, look at all these later, I'm going to go through this a little quickly. But basil, autism, bee stings, bronchitis, carpal tunnel syndrome. Didn't know that. Ear infections, again, I've got a DIY for that. Hiatal hernia. You know what a hiatal hernia is? If anybody suffers from a lot of indigestion, heartburn, a lot of times that's called a hiatal hernia. Okay, that's a hernia that's at the very top of, it's the fundus of the stomach, where the esophagus actually meets, goes to the diaphragm. Oftentimes that's the place where a hiatal hernia happens. And like I say, an extreme amount of acid indigestion, heartburn, that type of thing is oftentimes a symptom of a hiatal hernia. Mouth ulcers, ovarian cyst, viral hepatitis, and whooping cough. What an awesome oil basil is. Now, again, we talked about oregano for ear infection. Well, now let's talk about basil for ear infection. A little bit of oil on your finger. Again, your finger is only going to reach your outer opening of the ear. It's not going to go into your inner ear. So that's what you want to do. Also on the outside of your ear, some people like to put it on the mastoid bone on the behind their ear. And you have to just do it several times a day. Okay, for 10 days or even longer. Fun fact, I thought this was really, really cute because my roots go back to Italy. But in Italian culture, basil was used as a sign of love. Placing a pot of basil on a balcony meant that a woman was ready for her suitor to come. If the man arrived with a sprig of basil, then the woman would fall in love with him. And wouldn't that be so nice for the men to know that all you need is just a little bit of basil for the woman of your dreams to fall in love with you. But wearing basil on his person signified that a man had serious intentions for a woman that he was courting. I thought that was just so cute. Just put the pot of basil out there on the balcony, and it's kind of like the Romeo and Juliet type thing, So anyway, I just thought that was cute. All right, let's talk about thyme. Thyme is one that, I would cook with it, especially, I learned, a thing or two from, in Italian cooking, they use thyme often, as well as basil, as well as oregano. But thyme as well for, making the pasta sauce and things. It's got a very, very nice flavor to it. It's a natural insect repellent, and we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. So most of us think thyme as a seasoning and cooking, but thyme was also given as a gift to knights in medieval times to promote bravery and courage. It was also used by the Egyptians for embalming. It also smells much different when it's diffused. And I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that. So the way you smell thyme and then the way you diffuse thyme, you're going to smell it a little bit differently. I thought that was very curious, and let's try that out, right? It's a powerful antioxidant. It promotes healthy immune system and respiratory system function. Once again, same as oregano, same as basil, same as marjoram. It's a natural insect repellent, very good for the skin, especially if there's fungus. Okay, so that what that tells me, it would be that this is also an antifungal. Very good for hair and scalp, for strengthening your hair and your scalp. When taken internally, thyme essential oil supports a healthy immune system, which means you're protected against all of those, those environmental threats and things like that. So I thought that was very interesting. I didn't know some of these things. I just knew, I know that people who know a thing or two about oil, they know that thyme is very, very good for, for the immune system, right? You can take it internally once again, and of course you can cook with it. All right, so here's a few little DIYs. You can put it in target areas to promote healthy skin. Of course, always using FCO, very, very good. Putting it in those gel veggie caps, just like this particular picture shows the veggie cap. This is exactly what it looks like. I prefer, if I'm going to use a veggie cap, I'm going to fill it. I'm not just going to have it just a couple drops like this person is doing. I want to fill that capsule up, right? I want to get the most out of it that I can. So I would also add some lemon, some frankincense, some On Guard, oregano. I would add those also in this capsule, especially if I want to target my immune system. Okay, so those little buggers, right? We don't want those little buggers. So there's a couple different things that you can do, right? You can put it on your wrists, on your neck, keep those bugs off of you, of course, using FCO, or you can take a little cotton ball, put a drop or two of thyme and put it in those places where you find the bugs, right? Usually by the doors, right? You can also put it in a little spray bottle, a little bit of water, a couple drops of thyme, spray it on the door hearth, and keep those little bugs from coming into your house. All right, now cilantro. Cilantro is usually a love it or hate it type of an oil. I love cilantro, but the cilantro oil, it's depending on how you're using it. Okay. If I've got a headache, or if I've got, neck tension or whatever, I don't want to smell cilantro. Other than that, I like the smell of cilantro. I love it in salsas, especially, fresh cilantro herbs. You can also use a drop of the cilantro oil. Just be careful again. It's very, very powerful. Very, very good for digestion. So we're going to talk just a little bit about cilantro now. So it's good for healthy digestion and your immune system. Okay. It's got a very distinct flavor. Okay. It's good for cleansing. Very, very good for diffusing. I don't use cilantro for diffusing. It's just not the type of oil that I just like to just smell all day long. Now, like I say, I love, in cooking, but not so much with diffusing. Now, other people have got, different ideas. Everybody's nose is different, right? Very, very good for indigestion. You could just literally just take a couple drops in your hand, a little bit of fractionated coconut oil, and rub it over your abdomen. I usually just take Digestin and do the same thing. Putting it on your fingernails, on your toenails with tea tree oil, very, very good for nail health. Now, cilantro, this is something that I did not know about cilantro. Very, very good for brain health. They did some studies with it. And so what they did was they gave cilantro oil ingestion to these people in this study for 3 months. It was associated with improvements in learning, memory, and overall cognitive health. Okay, so with that being said, this oil could be very, very good, especially as our brain ages, right? And a lot of us on the Zoom, you know, we're in our 50s and some in our 60s, some in our 40s, and then some younger. But we understand that as we get older, that our ability to recall things, it goes, it might lessen. And so we want to maintain that cognitive health. Cilantro could definitely be something that we want to incorporate, as well as basil, for helping to maintain that cognitive health. It also supports circulation. Now here's another study. It's very, very good for, for blood pressure. What it does is it relaxes the smooth muscle. Now, if you understand anything about blood pressure, our vessels, they've got smooth muscle. What is smooth muscle? Smooth muscle is muscle that we cannot control. Striated muscle, like the muscle that, you know, to do this kind of thing, we control that, right? We tell our bodies, okay, move your fingers, right? That is that's voluntary muscle control. Smooth muscle is involuntary. Okay, that's why we have asthma attacks, right? It's involuntary. You can't control the contraction of that smooth muscle. As your esophagus goes down, it's all cartilage, and then it goes down and it starts to be controlled by smooth muscle more and more. And that's what actually induces an asthma attack, is that smooth muscle is just, it's tightening. And so you can't breathe as well. And so what happens is you start coughing, you're gasping for air, and those types of things, right? Well, the same thing happens in your blood vessels. That smooth muscle can contract or relax, okay? Cilantro is an oil that when you introduce it into your body, it will actually help to relax that vascular smooth muscle. And by doing that, lowers the blood pressure. And by doing that, helps your heart, okay? Because the tighter those vessels, the higher the blood pressure, the harder your heart has to pump, right? It's kind of like the way that, you know, to explain that is like let's take a garden hose, right? And you turn that spigot on, and let's say you kink that garden hose, and you see that pressure is building up in that garden hose, right? Less is coming out the other end, but the pressure is building up right here, okay? That's oftentimes what begins an embolism, a blood clot, okay? And so it's the pressure that's in that hose that's not good, right? You unkink it, you lessen that pressure, it comes out the other end better, more, and easier, right? And so that's exactly what we're trying to do inside of our blood vessels, is we're trying to relax the blood vessels, open them up, dilate them more, lower the blood pressure, right? Just let's calm everything down inside of those blood vessels. So here's a really fun fact. I did not know this. Coriander and cilantro are the same plant. I had no idea. So cilantro is the leaves and coriander is the seeds. And it's been used for centuries, coriander, for healthy digestion. I just thought it was so interesting. I had to share what I had learned. The seeds were even found in the tombs of Egyptian King Ramses II. Coriander also promotes a healthy complexion and a relaxed mood. All right, I thought that was just so interesting. So because of that, even though I didn't have this on my list of things that I was going to talk to you about, this is another herb, a herbal oil that, you know, would be very, very good to talk about. Good for digestion, good for your complexion, putting it on the bottom of your feet, the back of your neck to promote relaxation. All right, so another thing that a lot of people don't know about coriander is it's very, very good for insulin response. Okay, Anybody know anybody who's got issues with diabetes? We might want to go ahead and research coriander a little bit to see how effective and beneficial it might be. All right. So a couple of little DIYs mixed with Slim and Sassy to maintain a healthy insulin response. A few drops internally after eating to help with digestion. Did you know? I want to talk just a little bit about diffusers. Okay. Candles versus diffusers. Who's got candles in their house? I do. I still have them. Do I use them? No, I don't. But you just can't get away from candles, right? They're everywhere, right? But we all understand candles are a fire hazard. We all know that candles have toxic substances in them, which is creating that scent. We all know that there's pollution. We all know that candles are pretty expensive. If you're getting a good candle, I used to love Yankee Candle. And Yankee Candle is expensive, smells really, really good, right? But they're very damaging to the brain and to the lungs. So who wants to knowingly put damaging chemicals into your body? Diffusers, on the other hand, they don't pollute the air, they purify the air. Diffusers are safe for everyone. Diffusers uplift the mood. Diffusers cost pennies per drop to run them. You can customize your scent. There are no synthetics in it. And diffusers lower our stress, right? So even though there might be a lot of misinformation about essential oils, about diffusers and all of that, it's scientifically proven that oils, essential oils, are beneficial. They can increase your mood. They've actually done studies showing that lemon oil had the power to lift the mood in the study participants. I thought that was really cool. So with that being said, look at these cool summer diffuser blend. They smell, I mean, I could just smell them just reading them, right? I want to go ahead and try them, especially that sun rays. Sounds wonderful, right? Sunshine, lemonade. I mean, they just absolutely smell wonderful, beachy. So very, very neat diffuser blends to go ahead and try. With that being said, I wanted to talk about a couple of specials and a couple of diffusers. This is something that's on sale this month. It's the doTERRA, the Dawn diffuser. Now this diffuser is the biggest one that we've got. I meant to say how much water you put in this. This diffuser is huge, okay? It will run all day long, okay? And you also, when you purchase it, you get the Sunny Citrus and the Island Mist. So sounds wonderful to me. This one I just got. I smelled the Midnight Forest, but I have not been able to try, this pilot diffuser. I just got it, and boy, I'll tell you what, it is beautiful. The packaging that it comes in, this little carrying case, is so cool. It has a little handle, so I mean, you could take it anywhere because you don't need a cord for it. You charge it and you take it. So anyway, in that Midnight Forest, it's a blend of Siberian cypress, juniper berry, black spruce, wild orange, frankincense, pimento leaf, pimento fruit, cistus, caraway, and labdanium. That is a tremendous amount of oils in that one blend. The Lulus, I got the Lulus. I have not used my Lulus yet because it's in my closet. I'm waiting for one of my diffusers to die, but doTERRA diffusers just don't die. They just last for years and years and years. But I got this Lulus. This is a very heavy diffuser. Why? Because the top is all glass. It's a beautiful diffuser, and it comes with peppermint and wild orange, which, by the way, are very good to diffuse together. If you're into diffusing, you can get this. This is it's an aroma. What is it called? Michelle actually just had somebody that purchased it. It's an actual enrollment kit, and it comes with all of these oils: peppermint, balance, breathe, wild orange, on guard, citrus bloom, serenity, cheer, Adaptive, Northern Escape, and your Lulus. And is specifically meant for those who are very into diffusing oils. And then, of course, there's the Healthy Start Enrollment Kit. Comes with the 10 top oils: lemon, lavender, peppermint, breathe, digest, zen, frankincense, oregano, on guard, tea tree, deep blue, and pebble. The pebble diffuser. I said that as if pebble was the oil. But anyway, this is a Healthy Start Enrollment Kit. This is what a lot of us have started with. It gives us smaller bottles, gives you the diffuser, the 10 top essential oils, and it's very affordable. This is also an enrollment kit. Simple solutions. Comes with that deep blue, which is very, very powerful and very, very useful, and comes with lemon, serenity, and on guard. That is the end of my presentation. So I have opened it up. Let me go ahead and stop